Recording in progress.
Good morning. If anybody's jumping in on Zoom, it's all changed. Has anybody noticed all the different changes on Zoom? Update your software and there's all these strange things going on. Good to see you. Welcome to our week ahead. Welcome to Monday. Thank you for joining. Focusing today on Mondays, as we always do, on breath, but we will start off with doing some mobilization for the first half of the session, and then the second half of the session we'll take a seat and we'll do some seated breath work. So let's start by making sure you've got plenty of space around you, side to side, standing tall through the spine, lengthening through the spine. And taking your feet shoulder width apart, we'll just start off with a little bit of knocking. Always my favourite one to start off with every morning. It really helps to ease you into the day, get that spine energized, mobilized. Our breath is just light and soft and easy in and out through the nose. You're just tapping the back of the hand on the lower back. And just glancing side to side. We don't have to do a big look around side to side, just glancing side to side. And then the arm that's swinging across the front, you just bring into a light fist, and we're then just tapping just on the chest muscles. Think where the top of the lung will come into, sit in the chest cavity. So just tapping just on that, on your pecs, just above the collarbone. And here you might naturally, intuitively just want to take a slightly fuller breath and let go. Just if you feel for that. A cleansing and clearing breath, slightly fuller breath and let go. A reset breath. And then coming down back to belly and back. And gradually slowing it down into water waves. So here we just create that little bit of extra resistance. And maybe just slow the breath a little bit. Just keep that breath nice and slow, soft. Easy in and out through the nose. Very light breathing. And then take a rest. Just bringing your hands on the hips. Let's do that pelvic tilt. It's nice to combine this with the breath. So a little bit of bending the knees so that we can keep the knees soft, a little bit bending the knees there. And then we're just going to tilt the pelvis so you're spilling out the front of the pelvis. And then we're going to tuck the pelvis underneath, tuck the tailbone underneath so you're spilling out the back. So just get that movement working through the pelvis, tilting forwards and backwards. Keep that spine long, lifting and lengthening through the spine. Doesn't have to be a big movement. And then when you've got comfortable with the movement, let's breathe with that movement. So as you tilt the pelvis forwards and spill out the front, breathing in. And as you tilt the pelvis backwards, tucking the tailbone under, breathing out. And remember, it's just very easy, light breathing, not doing big full breaths. Don't need to make a sound with a breath. And find your own rhythm. So just breathe with the movement and move with the breath. Get that sense of when you're breathing in, breathing into the hips. And when you're breathing out, not over tightening or not pulling up the pelvic floor, but when you're breathing out, just gentle, gentle lift. Always difficult to cue these subtle sensations and movements because they're not easy to show. It's easy for me to say, yeah, bend your elbows and tighten your biceps, but actually just give you that little subtle awareness of all of that muscles in the pelvic area, the pelvic floor muscles. So key to optimal breathing. Let's do a couple more. And then standing tall. When you're doing anything like that with the pelvic tilts, always have that little bit of bend in the knee so you can get that movement. If you're like this, it's very difficult to get that movement, and you keep the spine long. So we're not doing this. I'm tilting the pelvis. Keep that spine long. Give yourself a little bit of a shake out. Let's step forwards or backwards, wherever you've got the space. So you're just creating a little bit of a step behind you or in front of you. The ball of the foot on the back foot is, you're on the ball of the back foot. You've got to bend in that knee. Then we're going to reach up, lengthen the spine, and we're just going to have that little lean over. So it's the back foot going back, you're leaning in the opposite direction. And then you're going to come up, stand forwards, step back, balance, lengthen. And keep breathing with this one. Step forward, step back, balance. Always lengthen first. Step back. All of this is working on, obviously, whole body, but particularly just focusing on the spine and the rib cage, diaphragm, pelvic floor. And also the fascia of the foot. And balance. Let's do one more each side. And take a rest. Make sure you keep breathing when you're here. It's very tempting just to go, oh, I'm just going to hold the breath. So breathe into it, shake out. Let's do a little bit about on the neck and the shoulders, but just be very gentle on this. I don't want you to think of stretching or pulling. Just think of gently easing out or encouraging the length of the neck muscles here. So we're going to put one hand on your head, the other hand on the opposite lower ribs. We're going to bring ear to shoulder. Now I am not pulling my neck here, I'm just gently guiding. So if you pull and stretch too much, your body just tightens and tenses. So we want to think as if we're encouraging that length here in the neck muscle. So just very gently. Obviously, if you have any pain, if you've got any issues with the neck, don't do it. Or just go there a little bit. Just have an idea of bringing your ear towards the shoulder. It's not forcing. So ear to shoulder. And then when you've got your ear to shoulder, you're just going to gently pull the rib cage in that direction. So you get a nice little ripple through the spine. And then you're just going to breathe. And then just come back to center. Tall there. See how that feels? And then opposite side. Head on the shoulder. Hand on those lower ribs. Go ear to shoulder first. Oh, that feels a little bit tighter this side. Gently, gently, gently pull the rib cage as well. Breathing. Breathing. And then balance head back on the spine. Have a little shake out if you need to. We'll do the same thing. This time we're going to bring the eyes into it as well. So we look in the opposite direction. So we'll go, have we done, yeah. So go back to that side. Hand on head. Bring ear gently towards the shoulder first. Then bring the rib cage with it. And then if you're going that way, look diagonally into the, if you've got a corner of the room, you can just look into that opposite corner. Breathing. Breathing, gently breathing, softly in and out through the nose. And then balance on top of this head, on top of the spine. Swap sides. Hand on the head, lower ribs, bring the ear to shoulder first. Then gentle, bringing the ribs, and then looking to the opposite corner. Breathing gently, and then bringing the head to balance on top of the spine. Having a little shake out, having a little walk around. Coming back to, just before we take a seat for some seated breath work, little bend in the knees. Let's bring spinal cord breathing. So we combine that tilting of the pelvis with expanding and opening up the chest, and then you tuck the pelvis underneath and you curl up into a little ball, and then following that breath, so breathing in and breathing out, going at your rhythm as well, just finding your natural rhythm. Think also as you breathe in and look up, you're opening up the throat as well. Opening up the front, I can't even say it, front of the throat. It's a tongue twister for a Monday morning. Let's do a couple more. And take a rest. A little shake out. Let's have a little bit of a shake. So shaking the wrists, and letting that vibration move up into the shoulders, using the legs as well, and the spine. Just let that head go a little bit without shaking your head all over the place, but just let the head go. And if you want to do a couple of cleansing and clearing breaths, you just take that fuller breath in through the nose and let go. Good old shake. Shake your legs out, shake your ankles. And then just stand and just feel tingles, energy moving through the body. Pulling down the heavens, breathing in, breathing out. See how slow you can go with this, keeping the breath smooth. If you go outside today, do 3 of these outside. So as you're looking up, when you're outside, you're looking up into the sky, pulling down the heavens, pulling down the sky. Interlocking your fingers, resting on the lower dantian, bringing the feet together, and just standing for a moment, letting your body maybe spiral, rock, sway, bamboo in the wind. And again, if it's safe to do so, do this outside as well. And then taking a full breath, opening your eyes, stepping out, giving yourself that very gentle brush down. Just got that little bit of energy flowing. Welcome ourselves up. Take a seat. You can do this standing if you prefer to do it standing, but feel free to sit. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor, wherever you are going to remain comfortable for the next 10 minutes. And we'll just have a little explore of slowing the breath and remembering that breath work doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be something that you need to go away and do for hours on end. Obviously, if you have time to do that, that's absolutely fantastic. But you're going to get a lot more benefits if you just spend just a few moments just tuning in with the breath, noticing how you're breathing, become aware of the breath without changing anything, which we'll do as a setup to our practice. And then as humans, we have that ability to consciously control the breath. And we know if we're stressed, what happens with the breath, it starts to get quick, it starts to get shallow. We can then sort of like feed into hyperventilation. So all we're going to do is slow the breath. We do exactly the opposite of that. And we can physically do that to tell the brain, hey, everything's fine. We're calm, we're relaxed. So we're consciously controlling the breath. We're slowing the breath to send that signal of safety to the brain. But let's start off with just bringing some awareness to the breath and giving ourselves a little bit of a moment to settle into a comfortable posture, comfortable seated posture. If you're sitting on a chair, having the feet or your feet in contact with the ground and making sure you're stable on the surface that you are sitting. Again, this is another way of sending the signal to the brain to say, yeah, we're safe, we're stable. Often these comfy chairs that allow you to move around a little bit are maybe not that great. So it's always good just to sit and be stable on the surface that you are sitting. And then lengthen the spine, so lift and lengthen the spine, nice strong spine. Think of all the work we've just done on that very gentle head position, neck position, so just get the head balanced on top of the spine. And then just bring attention to the face. So another area which can send that signal to the brain to say, hey, everything's fine. If somebody's stressed, you see it in the face. If that stress is seen in the face, that sends a signal to the brain to say, hey, we're stressed. So relax the face. So soften and relax into the brow. Soften and relax into your eye sockets. So you can have eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer. And then relax into the cheekbones and the jaw. And just resting the tongue or the tip of the tongue, just gently resting on the roof of the mouth. Lips lightly together. And then just bringing your attention to the air just as it flows naturally in and out through the nose. So not changing anything, just bringing awareness to that physical sensation of the air just as it flows in and out through your nose. And remember, it's normal for your mind to be wandering whenever you take this moment just to sit in stillness. But when your mind wanders, use this as an opportunity to very gently bring your attention back to that physical sensation of the air just as it flows in and out through the nose. And feel as you breathe in the sensation, the cool sensation of the air as you're breathing in. That difference of the inhale to that very gentle exhale. when your mind maybe drifts off, use that as an opportunity to very gently guide your attention back to the breath. And already you may have noticed that the breath has slowed a little bit, but we're now going to slow the breath to 6 breaths per minute. I'm going to give you a count of 4 to breathe into and 6 to breathe out to. If you lose the rhythm, that's absolutely fine. Just take a moment. But then when you're ready, just very easily bring yourself back into the rhythm. So taking a breath out now, just breathing out and breathing. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Light, slow breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. In, out. In, out. We're going to follow 2 more breaths. Soft, light breath in. Just letting go of that gentle, soft breath out. Breath in. And breath out. And then just taking your time, letting the breath settle. And then slowly, if you have your eyes closed, opening your eyes, maybe taking a slightly bigger breath, having a little twist. Tom's having a good yawn there on Zoom. He sent him asleep. Sorry, I did see that on Instagram and maybe on YouTube and Facebook, the video muted the mic, so I'm sorry if there was no count at the beginning of that, but hopefully you could follow that through with the video as well. So just taking a few moments there just to slow the breath. So say you don't need to take lots of time. Obviously, if you can, that's great. But just 5 minutes or so, just sitting there, slowing the breath, giving yourself that little bit of peace and quiet is a really good way of getting in some of your breath work for the day. Thank you for joining, really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you on Wednesday when we'll be focusing a little bit more on the Qigong and the functional movement. Thanks a lot, have a good day. Take care, bye. Bye bye.